Happy Tuesday, everyone.
Yeah, happy Tuesday, everyone.
Welcome to another episode of All Things Creepy with your ghostly travels here. It is June 17th, 2025. And our special guests tonight are...
Southern Ohio Paranormal Society.
Yes, a new paranormal team that is out of Southern Ohio...
Claremont County.
Claremont County.
Which, by the way, that's now where I work.
Patty is a Claremont County girl.
I work in Claremont County.
Turn that light on. See how dark it is, right?
Well, I think I need to close the blind, too.
Okay. So welcome, guys. It's going to be a great show. See, that helped out.
Huh?
Let's see, when I go over here, it's like dark. Can you just hit that switch?
Oh, my God. You are ill-prepared.
No, I'm not. Yes. I just forgot about the light. There we go. We can
don't normally have this light on.
But we can look how much better it is. Just look.
Well, now I need the fan off because I'm already...
That's good. That's good. Don't mess with that other one or you're going to go through the cycle.
Jeez Louise.
So they'll be joining us here in the next 9 minutes or so. We appreciate you guys coming on. And we had a really great weekend with Entity Explorers this past weekend. We filmed episode 3. Let me tell everybody hi over here. You want to go start in that?
Yeah. Well, see, I'm a little bit... Well, I'm very much the opposite of Lee. He will want to tell you everything about episode 3, and I want to tell you nothing because I want you to wait and watch it. But
no, I'm not going to share about it. I'm just going to share a little bit of where we were.
We were up north.
It's already out there. Jake, we were in Bellevue, Ohio. We were at Mad River and NKP Train Museum.
Yes.
Okay. And some of the trains were very fascinating.
Yeah, that was the first train museum I've ever been to. And so it was really cool because you can, walk through all these different train cars.
Let me go back here. Hello, Laura. Hello, Christina. Hello, Liz. Hello, Jake. And those people, All Things Creepy, are saying, hey.
Hey.
Hey. Oh, wait.
If Kyle comes in, you must show him, hey, Kyle, guess what we had for dinner today? I don't see him yet, but remember?
Oh, yeah, Jake.
Yep.
Tell your brother that, yes. No, we're not sponsored by them by any means.
Not yet.
That'd be cool. That would. That would be very cool.
So we hope everyone else had a good weekend.
Yes, I hope you did. Next month for Entity Explorers, we are going to be...
I have to look it up.
What's this?
Oh, dear Lord. It's...
By the way, I only shared what happened off camera. Exactly. So we're not going to share too much about what the investigation. But next month we're going to be heading. I'm not going to tell you the date or anything, but we're going to be heading to Patty and Carlo's favorite place that we went to last summer. Was it last summer? Yeah.
It was earlier this year, wasn't it?
No,
like March?
It was last year.
We can agree to disagree.
I think, it may have been.
Yeah.
But we're going to Pine Lawn Manor in Illinois. And they really, really love this place. So, yes.
So if anyone has a full-face motorcycle helmet, I need to borrow it, please. Or a beekeeper suit.
Oh, God. I would just put a hoodie on and be done with it. That's so funny. But we do have some investigations. I'm being swarmed by cats, which I normally don't.
Yeah, usually it's me.
Real quick before I go over to this, we have some great guests lined up. After tonight, we have Tennessee Shadow Chasers next week. We have no guests July 1st. Me and Patty's just going to chit chat. So not every Tuesday there'll be a guest. Okay. We have openings for July 8th. So if you're interested, or if you know somebody that's would fit what we're looking for, all things creepy. It could be any paranormal walks. It could be good stories, anything that happened. Maybe like you passed away on a surgical table and you saw, really cool things.
A near-death experience.
Yes, that's the one I was wanting to hear. So July 8th open. July 15th, we have Liz, Perceived Paranormal. July 22nd, we have Closer to the Veil, Ashley Reed. We're open July 29th, and we have our dear friend that we've known that was at our wedding. He's big into Bigfoot, cryptid, Jody Cook. To me, he's one of the best out there. And he will be on, and then we have openings for the rest of August. So I like to be booked through July and August. So we have the 8th of July, the 29th of July, the 12th, the 19th, and the 26th of August. Okay. So that's what we have open. We have coming up for us July 12th. We are going to be heading up to Fort Wayne, Indiana, to where, hello, Lisa. And Liz said, can't wait. We look forward to having Perceived. Hello to our dear friend, Lisa. We're heading to Fort Wayne to the Bell Mansion. If you all know, the Bell Mansion got sold this year, and they believe that there will be no more paranormal investigations in the building. So they're going to do this year, and then it's over. So Angie reached out to me and asked if we would like to partner up with 2 investigations. So July 12th, I post the banner. I will post it again because it's getting close. Patty and I will be there July 12th, and the team will be there August 9th. And we're going to have our friends Bob and Denise at that time with us. July 19th, we're going to be at our favorite place in Waynesville, the Museum at the Friends Home, doing our Ghost Class 101. And we hope you guys can join us for that. All proceeds go to the museum. So that's fun. And then we are traveling, Patty and I, to Indiana State Sanatorium with our friend Jenny. And so that's going to be fun. So, yeah, fun. Till your daddy takes the T-Bird away. That's what they say.
It's all fun and games till you lose the T-Bird.
Yeah, don't lose the T-Bird, man.
No.
Anything you got us before our guests arrive? Anything you'd like to share?
Well, I would just like to share that, as many of you know, Lee is a giant spoiled baby. And coming up, we will be traveling to Savannah because I have to go away for work. So I invited him to come down and spend the weekend with me. And finally, he accepted. Because it's Savannah, Georgia. As long as I took care of his airfare and hotel.
Whoa.
And the rental car.
Hold up. I didn't ask for this trip. I was working. She called me.
You would be perfectly content with me being gone for 7 whole days and not?
No, but that's not what I was intended to do, was to do this. You said, hey, I have free Sky Miles to get you a ticket. So it's not costing you a damn penny.
Yes, it did.
The car rental and all of this stuff that we're doing is paid for by her work. Sky Miles.
Not the hotel in Savannah.
Okay. So one thing.
And I did have to, not only did I use miles, but it was miles and money.
Okay. So let's just say we're going to have a good time at the end of the month in Savannah, Georgia.
Yes.
Bottom line, making me look like a freaking dog, don't she?
I love to do that to you. I'm sorry.
She does.
Yeah. Yep.
See?
What is
Dang,
this
Patty, you tried to shove him under. She does all the time, Jake.
I do all the
time. Jenny!
Hold on, now I'm being an
Jenny and I did a battle on TikTok last night, our first one. It was fun.
Got you.
And guys, follow me over on TikTok if you have TikTok. because my page is growing like crazy and we have so much fun. It looks like we have two of our guests. It's 8:10, so I'm going to bring them in, okay?
Okay.
We have Travis. Oops.
There he is. Yep. There you go.
There we go. And we have Cole/Shonda. How you guys doing?
She's actually working on homework, but
okay.
Right here.
Yep. Stay focused.
That's right.
So how are you all doing this Tuesday evening?
Doing pretty good. Texting Justin right now to see where he's at.
No, that's no problem.
Late as usual with him.
Yeah, he's slacking off.
Here he is.
Oh.
Bringing him in.
What's up? What's up?
How you doing, Justin?
Doing good. How about you guys?
We are fantastic. Living the dream.
Listen, I'm gonna have to say, Gold Star or Skyline?
Skyline.
All the way.
Skyline.
All the way. Skyline.
Gold Star. No.
So you like the chocolate in your chili?
Yeah, a little bit of extra. A little bit of extra put in there.
Gold Star does have better French fries.
I will say that. Yeah, I do like.
Yeah, because it's just called Gold Star now. It's not called Gold Star Chili because they're famous for their cheeseburgers, their bacon cheeseburgers, and that's why they took off the chili.
Oh, I mean, okay. I didn't know that. That's cool.
How I know that is because you guys are firemen, right? So I do fire safety. I work for a company up in Miamisburg called A1 Sprinkler. We install sprinklers and things like that. So working with these contractors and stuff, that's how I learn a lot of my things. And so they just recently took off the chili. So if you look at the Gold Star, it just says Gold Star now because they're famous for their cheeseburger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're not famous for their chili anymore.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
So
I'm just trying to see what the heck Jenny said.
Oh, Jenny says, make sure, let me bring it over here. Make sure you go to do Patrick Lynn Burns Ghost Tour. We're going to be on limited time. We've already got something booked, though, but maybe next time for sure.
Yeah.
And then she said, sleeping on the job.
I don't know what that means.
Well, it's probably something we said that I just saw that. So
Yes.
I'm sorry, Jenny. So, guys, let's, we could be like any podcast and start saying, well, what brought you guys into the paranormal? But let's go back a little farther. What brought you guys together?
I'll let you take it, Travis. I'll let you take it.
All right. So, I mean, how me and Justin met was he joined at Washington Township, one of the departments that we work for. Started working there, about a year, almost 2 years ago now?
Yeah, it's about almost 2
years. Yeah, right around there. Been on the same shift together, working.
She said that was to you being late.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Story of his life there.
Yeah, 100%,
man. Cole, he just recently at my full-time job there for Franklin Township. He just recently joined at the beginning of this year, about to become one of our new full-timers there too. So that's how we all kind of met up and everything.
Oh, cool. Well, congratulations coming full time. That was something that I always wanted to do before I got into what I do now is be a firefighter. But my junior year, summer, in between my junior and senior year, I worked doing ACAD vocational school. So I went to a Job Corps and not the company I work for, but another company. So I've only had 2 jobs doing this. I was designing sprinklers and doing fire extinguishers, stuff like that. So they were like, hey, want to be an intern? And I was like, sure. So I was getting paid good money, right? That was 1992. So I've been doing it ever since. So
nice.
So you guys go in, you guys make sure everything's good. Then we go in and we repair it. So Tori, hello Tori, how are you? Tori, guys, if you guys go out west, you got to go to Tori's place, Sleeper Mortuary.
Okay.
Yeah. Hello there.
Okay.
Hello Bonnie. We got so many people coming in here. I just like to pull them out.
You guys are popular.
Yeah. put the word out today, guys.
I've been busy on that. We've been waiting for this. We was excited. Actually, the day it happened, me and Justin was working together, just chilling at Washington, and all of a sudden he's like, "Dude, did you see our Facebook message?" I'm like, "For what?" He's like, "For our paranormal page. We got invited to a podcast." I'm like, "No way!"
Yeah, we were super excited.
That's so cool though.
Yeah.
And I think you got a setting on your messenger for that page because it won't let links. It'll let you type, but it won't let you like put a link in.
Okay.
It couldn't send. So I was like, oh, I know.
Somehow when we set up the page, I don't know what we done and everything, but it's set up as a business style and everything. Like we can't message people first at all; they have to message us.
Oh, really?
So we're trying to figure that out.
That's interesting.
Tori goes, who doesn't love a 15,000 square foot 2-story and basement funeral home? I want it.
Love it.
I'm dying to get in there.
That's right up our alley.
The funeral home's a basement.
Yeah. That's where we kind of started out as a team as our first place.
That's our
Broadwell,
stomping grounds.
Yeah.
Was Broadwell Funeral Home?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, in Felicity, Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah, how was that?
Wonderful location.
I would like to go there.
So it was funny because when we first started this, me and Travis were like, he's like, oh man, I know someone that is turning an old funeral home into a bed and breakfast. He's like, I wonder if I could probably get us a tour. But we went in there and we just started throwing some EVPs out there, trying to see what we would get. We were only in there for probably like an hour. And all of a sudden we started getting things like you could hear audible voices coming through. You heard like grunts and different things. And we're like, oh, we got to come back. And then that's when we had Cole and them come with us, and we ended up doing a longer investigation, and we caught a lot of good stuff. And then we went back with Jennifer, and it's an amazing place. It's kind of the way it is the spirits, they observe you. I mean, that's really what they do. If you're there for a first time, they literally are just observing, and it's not really like you're not going to get immediate reaction. And we've even caught things where it's said it's observing us, and it's like, okay, like why did you all of a sudden get quiet? And it was like observing, and we're like, oh, okay, that's great. But yeah, it's a great location. I definitely recommend it to anybody.
So out of you three, I'm an empath, so I'm already picking up energy. And Justin, it seems like you get scared.
Me? No, I'm not. Okay, a little bit. All right.
Look at Travis. He's over there going.
Well, okay.
Just a little bit. All right. Not too bad. I'm one of those that I'm like, let's not do that. Like we started having some pretty intense experiences our second time there, and that's when we brought Cole in, and Cole was being affected. And I'm one of those that I jumped in. I said, no, you're out. Like, get out. We're going to shut this down. It was like, at that point, I looked at everyone. I was like, hey, guys, it's almost 3:30 in the morning. I was like, the energy's negative. And I'm like, I recommend we shut it down, and that. So, yeah, a little bit.
Thinking smart.
Cautious. Yes.
Yeah, cautious. And Tori goes, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they have an entity called One.
Yes.
Yeah. So the story goes for he calls himself the One or the Evil One, and he normally dwells in the basement. They have a crawl space there in the basement from where the sunroom is. If you kind of know the layout of the house, that's where he kind of hides at in there. When just talking like to Jennifer and the other people that has been there doing numerous investigations, talking to them, there's numerous reports of when that certain entity is about to show up. A lot of the other spirits, if they're communicating with you, they'll start sitting there saying he's coming. And when he finally shows, all spirits goes quiet. And for that period, you're talking to that one.
Oh, wow.
That's interesting.
Because she said she
knew much about it and everything. He's kind of, I think he's the one that does most of the observing and likes to play most of the tricks and stuff, and really kind of let you know he's there.
So he's
malevolent.
So he's sort of like somebody that's scared. He must have some power. When other spirits are around. Because
when
she
he
said,
doesn't want you around, he definitely makes you known when he doesn't want you there anymore. He's very adamant about that.
oh, wow. But she added Malvin Manor had an entity called the One, and her and Austin was talking about the similarities.
Didn't know that.
And it happens there, see now, like you see, like you start to see a pattern with different locations that's totally not near each other, right?
Yeah.
Hello, Holly. For instance, like this guy, the One, here where we are in, Butler County, Montgomery County, Warren County, Clinton County, we have which we investigated before I even met Patty. There was a line of investigations that I did where we would go talk to the residential case. And before we would investigate, it was all about the same story. So we started, and Jim brought it up one night, one of my teammates, he goes, do you know the stories are the same as this, and this one? And I'm like, dude. So I started thinking about this, and I'm like, yeah. And you've all heard of Slender Man.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the same scenario for all of these locations. Going up this ley line, the river, the Great Miami River, and it seemed like it's a pattern all the way up through to the city of Hamilton in Butler County. And it just blows you away. And then, like that, the One,
Yes.
how it happens there, and it happens at another location, Malvin Manor, and that's in Iowa. So that's not even near each other.
No.
So that's crazy.
Yeah, and it was when we did our second investigation there, we were walking up out the basement because it was completely quiet. Like we were getting absolutely nothing. And we were just like, all right, well, we're going to go ahead and head upstairs and go up to the other hot spots. And as we're walking up, it's me first, Cole's in the middle, and Travis is in the back behind us. And all of a sudden you hear what sounds like someone full sprinting in the basement. Heading towards us at the stairs. So I'm moving because I look back and I see Travis he's booking it. And I'm like, what is that? And when me and Cole decide to walk back down the steps, you hear it walking away from us. And it's like, oh, okay, you like to sneak up. That's what you like to do. You think it's cool to sneak up, play little tricks. So yeah, it's definitely got a sense of malevolence.
I think if I was with Travis, I think we'd be jammed in the door jam because we would both be running.
That's why I was afraid of.
It takes a lot to kind of get me on this and their thing. But being the last person, just like all of a sudden, I just getting that feeling of like something's watching, and then something was getting ready to move right up on me. And before I heard the footsteps, all of a sudden a cold of rush hair came up, hit the back of my head and stuff. Neck hair stood up, and then I heard the deep footsteps, and I'm like, nope, I'm done.
Time to go.
Like Tori says on that too, she said, I would totally nerd out at a compare and contrast video about the One entities. Makes me wonder if it's a transient,
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it. Like it's creepy. That's a creep. Because now I'm curious to see if anybody else. But now I want to get a map and see where, Felicity is and where it corresponds with Southern Iowa.
Yeah.
And our good friend Bob here, he's with Stop Properties, like Randolph County, Old Blackford County. Joe, he said it was a Pokemon. Gotta have fun. Bob's always the guy.
Yeah.
And then she just said the One at Malvern, Josh, the owner, asked, what would it take to get rid of you? It said, bring God. Wow.
Yeah, that's
That's a
intense.
powerful statement.
Yeah.
So, Cole, how were you being affected that they referred to earlier?
So over the course of that night when we went in, I told these guys when I joined the team was I'll go do all this stuff nobody wants to do. I'll go sit alone in all the rooms and do the little solo sessions and go where nobody else wants to go. And for part of that night, I sat down in the basement. And I sat in a couple different rooms in the basement. I didn't have a whole lot happen to me when I was down there. We got a couple EVPs and a few orbs, but nothing really happened until we went upstairs. And it was the first time we went upstairs for the night. And I think I remember saying something to either Justin or Travis specifically. I walked up there and I said, I feel really weird up here. Like my head hurts. I got really lightheaded and dizzy while I was up there and stuff. And it was just overall a weird feeling. And we went into this room, which is supposed to be the one of the little girls' rooms that haunts the house and stuff. And little did I know she has a special closet in this room that you're supposed to ask permission to go into. And we were going to put me in this closet and sit in it. And Justin and I were trying to get the camera set up. The camera was turning off on its own. It had a full battery. We changed the battery. It was still turning off. We plugged it into the wall, and it was still turning off and wouldn't work. So that was our first hint. Something bad was probably about to happen. I went into the closet, and I sat in the closet. I don't remember how long I was in there or how long it exactly happened, but I remember just sitting in the closet and just kind of waiting for things to get started. And the next thing I remember, I had Travis actually in my face, like yelling at me to get out of it. And I came out of the closet and I just felt this massive feeling of sadness. I had tears running down my face. I just not really in control of my emotions at the time. And from what I understand, Justin was the one who noticed it, and they were yelling at me for a good solid few minutes trying to get me to snap out of it.
Yeah, it was so. Travis was wrapping up some stuff downstairs. Me and Cole, he was upstairs. He had went up for a short amount of time, and he's like, that was when he first had the first headache, and he's like, I told you I'd go anywhere by myself. He's like, but I really don't want to go up there by myself, just because my head, I didn't like the way it felt. And I'm like, well, I'll go up with you. So we went up there, trying to set up the camera, messing with it. He goes and sits down. Travis is walking up, and as he's walking in the room, and I've never heard this in my entire life, it was an audible growl, and it sounded like the whole environment just felt like it was spinning, and we're focusing on what caused that growl. Was it something outside? Was it a floorboard creaking? So it was probably about 10, 15 minutes, and I look over at Cole sitting in the chair, and it's a blank stare. He's not blinking. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, Cole, shine the flashlight in his eyes. Nothing. And finally, what got him was Travis, like, almost putting hands on him to check on him to pull him out. And what's wild is that's not the only experience that we had. They actually caught it on camera on Jennifer's live stream, on Jennifer's Paranormal. Travis had something similar happen to him in a different closet upstairs. Yeah. It almost put him, like, in a sleep, and it scared me. I threw my phone down and everything, like it's all on the live stream. And I literally get face to face with him, and I grab his shoulder, and he finally comes to, and he's like, I don't remember anything. So there's something that definitely likes to lurk in the closets, and they like to, it was pretty wild experience to see both of that happen to them, because I've never witnessed anything like that before.
Where it's actually like the energy from it is getting into your personal space to where time slips away.
Yes.
Because it happens a lot. Like, dude, it just felt like it was a second, but people around you are like, dude, we were trying to literally get you out of this for like 5 minutes or so, whatever it took. And they're like, what? And then that's scary. That's really scary, because here we go. I've been bringing this up a lot, and this is a perfect time, is a Wendigo. You guys know how a Wendigo is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it goes and it draws and it sucks everything dry out of you before it takes possession. And, we've got one of those actually here in our house. And the only thing that you can possibly do is burn this certain kind of tree bark to keep it. It's weird. Yeah. So this house is full of all kinds of different things. And so that is pretty cool. Now, let me try to bring up something. I have it here. Let me see if it'll squeeze in. There's their logo, guys. I wanted to put that up there.
Yep.
And it's been sitting there in the backstage, and I was like, here, let me bring that up. So, and it's really cool too. You guys, you're only like 50 minutes from us.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah, because we're just right up. We're near Monroe, Butter Jesus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when I say that, oh yeah.
Love it. That's awesome. Yeah.
I know, and I was saying at the beginning that now I work in Claremont County, so now every day I'm doing that drive. It's like 55 minutes, which is not fun, but I'm getting a lot of audiobook time, so that's nice.
Yeah, that's always good. You know, it's listen to a nice little podcast or something every now and then. Yeah,
She
yeah.
does. She
Yep.
listens well, and she listens to Howard Stern. So
Oh, okay. I like Howard Stern. Yeah, that's
yeah,
good.
that's her.
That's a
That's
good
her
one.
thing.
Yep.
And then I call her in the mornings, like as she's driving, and she's like, "Yep, just listen to Howard." I was like, "Well, I'll let you go so you can hear it. Call me later."
See ya.
That's
Where are
awesome.
you headed next?
Yeah, where's your next destination?
So, you want to take this one, Travis?
Well, we was going to go to Pasadena Middle
Potown,
School there in Middletown. But
Yeah, Postown.
we just,
Yep.
just got notified. We're going to have to work on that a little bit. I guess the day that we was all looking at for a group of 10, us, Jennifer, and a couple other groups. Apparently, the day that we had scheduled July 5th is now booked. So,
Oh man.
I don't know on that one. If anything, I mean, with Broadwell Funeral Home being so close to us and everything, and we've been helping the owner of that place and everything to get the renovations done and everything. So most likely we'll continue a couple of investigations there.
And then also go over to Middle Point School. I've not been there, but Mike Ring that works with Austin Maynard. He owns his team is Creepy Cincinnati Paraforensics, and he grew up with me. He's a few years older. He's my sister's age. Lives in the neighborhood I grew up here, in about 10 minutes from me. And he always reaches out. Hey man, going to the school. You got any event? I was like, dude, I am booked. I'm like, I'm having no time. I wish I could. So so you definitely want to go there because that's one of theirs as well. And then they have another place over in Maysville, Kentucky.
The flea market or what?
That big old building. Yeah.
That would be cool to go to. Yeah,
I know we've discussed going there before. At least me and Travis have. I think it's come up in conversation between us two about possibly seeing if we could set something up down there in Maysville at the flea market.
Yep. That Mike was telling me that place. He goes, Lee, that blew me away, man. He goes, because I was supposed to. He wanted me. He asked me. He says, "Hey, can you help me do an event there? You and a couple of your team members." And I was like, yeah, just give me a date, and if it works, I'll make it. So of course, the date he wanted, it did not work. So, but I told it, I said, let me know how it went because this was their first time doing something there. And he goes, my God. So I was like, well, now you're putting it on my list. I was like, so I got to go check it out.
Yeah. So there's one thing that we are working on, and we've been trying to get a hold of a historical society that's close here. And we're slowly working on that. We actually, the president of that society is supposed to be getting back with us. She just got back from vacation, so we're hoping to help get the history of this building out and everything. So we're hoping to start being able to release that information here soon.
Nice!
Excited about that. Yeah, we're pretty excited. Yeah. So,
Tori asked, this is for everybody that's right here. Can you share a paranormal experience you've had that significantly shifted or changed your perspective on the paranormal? It's a good question.
Do you have one? No.
So I'll go first on this one. It's actually at the building that I'm currently in talks with the president of the society of there. They used to rent out the top of this building all the time for like events and stuff like that. It was a memorial building. So we ended up for my sister's 16th birthday party. They had her Sweet 16 there, and I was picked. There was this girl that was friends with my sister that I had a crush on, and I let her leave without asking her to dance or anything. So I was downstairs.
Oh, dude, you never did that.
Yeah, you never do. So I was downstairs with my uncle, and he was, trying to give me a pick me up, and because some of the girls had said that there was something creepy that kept happening downstairs in the museum part, and they're like, we're scared to go down there by ourselves. So me and my uncle would walk them down, and at this time it was his wife and his kids. So we went down there, and they were in the bathroom, and it was just me and him sitting at this really long table. And the museum has like these two doors that has like a shade in front, and that's all blocked off and locked. Well, all of a sudden, there was a really, really bright light that shined inside of this room, and you just see probably, I don't know, anywhere of 20 plus different like shadows in there. And all of a sudden the doors just started shaking ferociously. Like, it was bad. It scared me. I woke over my uncle. I was like, "You need to stop that." I think I was like 13 at the time. I was like, "You need to stop that." And he walked up to put his hands on the doors, and it was shoving him off the doors. It was shaking the doors so hard. I took off running, which, you did get me right about, being scared, especially when I was younger. I left him out down there to die. I was like, "I don't care, man. I'm leaving."
Every man for themselves, my friend.
Yeah. So we called the police, thinking that something was in there, and I kept telling them, like, there was nobody in there. There was something. And I always grew up in church, and I heard about the paranormal. I heard about ghosts. I heard about all that. But that really gained my attention, because when the police did their walkthrough, they're like, "I just want to tell you, anytime after 12 p.m. or 12 a.m., midnight, this place, we get calls all the time thinking that someone broke in, because there's things happening and nobody can explain it." He's like, "I can't stand walking in this building at night." So that really shifted my perspective on the paranormal. It really gained my interest, because, like I said, I was 13, and it was like, okay, I need to learn more about this, and really started to dive deeper into it. And even my uncle, and he was like, trying to debunk it with me, and was like, was it maybe some of the kids dancing on the top that was shaking? There's just no way possible that it was. There was no scientific proof or anything that could be making the doors shove him off of them. So that definitely changed my perspective.
Tori goes, I would just pass out at 13 seeing that. I'd be calling Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, I fell up the stairs and everything. It was like I was a wreck going up them steps, so I was about to be.
How about you, Travis?
So not a lot of people knows about this one. It actually started, I was 9, 10. It was the day that we buried my brother and stuff. We was having a family get together at the house and everything after.
I'm sorry to hear about that.
Thank you. I was chilling in my room, in my parents' house, the room that I was sleeping in, my childhood bedroom room. There's no major lights that can come in from traffic and stuff. But sitting there watching TV, and then just all of a sudden, a big flash of light came in and hit the back wall where my bed was, and it looked like a cross. And next thing I know, I look at the TV, and the TV goes complete static, and I just see a perfect picture of my brother there, and hear him clear as day saying, "I'm fine, it's okay."
Wow.
Was you at that time? Was you, being at that age, you was probably wondering why your brother, right?
Yes, especially because we was always close growing up and everything. I mean, he wasn't just my brother; we was best friends.
My goodness.
And when I find out he passed away, he committed suicide. So,
How old was he at the time? Was he?
He was 17 years old.
Oh my goodness.
So, just at that time, being at my age, just not understanding why, just never seen the sign and everything. But now, being the age I am now, I can see the just looking back and everything. I could see the stuff that was there and everything. Just at the time, I didn't understand.
And that right there, it hits the heart, because it's from the blood. It's your brother, and to get that answer, because mine. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to go next, because I'm just going to keep you guys in the tissues, okay? I lost 2 kids, and that's why I do paranormal. My son was 2 weeks old in 1998, and he passed away with hypoplastic left heart. So a month after his death, which his birthday's coming up, it's August 14th, September of 1998, I started seeing this little 3-foot shadow. I didn't know what paranormal meant. I was just I was young. I was like 22 years old. just a normal day guy, fishing, golfing, girls, because I was disengaged with my fiance at the time, and we weren't married, and losing our kid. And I remember the nursery, we never went in, so we had baby Looney Tunes decorated, and I'm getting out of the shower, and I can hear the mobile playing the baby Looney Tunes song backwards. I get out, and I'm slowly opening that door to the nursery, and the mobile's just swinging. So I back away, leave the door open, and I yell down the steps thinking, because it was my townhouse, I was thinking my fiance was home. I knew she wasn't, but I thought maybe somebody's coming in. No. So I just go back, and then I go golfing that day, and my friends are like, man, what happened? You act like you saw a ghost. I said, dude, I don't know how to explain this, but since you said that, I'm going to share. And then it was like a little later, I started getting this 3-foot shadow. And then in 2000, I'm going to make this fast, my daughter was born, and she was born with what they call imperforated anus. So they had to reconstruct the rectum. So she went through 53 surgeries, inpatient, outpatient. She passed away May of 2005.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And so she, there for a long time, I wanted to know why. So then, at that time we were married, so we got a divorce a year after her passing, and still why I met Patty. Now this was crazy. This was in 2014. We just got done doing a podcast, and at that time our podcast was called Looking Into the Unknown, and it was me and Patty and 2 of our teammates, and it felt so real. So I woke up thinking I need to go downstairs and get a glass of water. Well, I go downstairs and I'm passing through the dining room, and there's these 2 young people sitting at the dining room table, and they're talking about me. Well, all I could see is the back of the head of the boy, and he looked like a teenager, and I heard a girl's voice. So as I go around to see her, they're talking about me, and I'm like, who are these kids? So I didn't make eye contact because those contact lenses at the time where they glow in the dark, I thought they were setting me up, punking me, right? Well, and this was during that dream, and they both looked at me, and when they made eye contact with me, something grabbed me around my body from behind, lifted me up because I was about to pass out because I knew exactly who they were. And in my ear, the man upstairs that makes it all for who we are, he goes, "This is your sign." I wanted to know if they were okay. I kept asking, are they okay? Are they okay? Are they okay? He gave me the opportunity. This is what they were teenagers. My daughter was still wearing a necklace that we put on her when we put her in her casket, and it's just, so yeah. So now doing paranormal, I'll tell you what, people does it for the right reasons and people do it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And I want to know because I want to know more. I'm intrigued now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
100%. And for what you went through, and that's, talking about the man upstairs, the way he's able to turn back things that are painful in our lives, and turn it back to a good thing still, was what's even more amazing. And, I know I speak on behalf of the whole team. I'm sorry that you did have to go through that. I can only imagine. Actually, me and my wife are getting ready to have our second. It's due August 11th. And, we went through 4 miscarriages. So, it's obviously not the same, but we feel that loss to a point.
Absolutely.
And so we feel for you, and, definitely will always keep you in our thoughts and prayers
I
on that.
appreciate that. Now I'm going to go back to, because Tori said some things. Travis, she said, "I'm sorry for your loss."
Thank you.
And then she says, "Oh, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that. I know that it's not easy." And that's true. And then, she just mentioned too that she had one successful suicide and 1 attempted suicide in her family, and she can relate. So, and then, she said, I'm sorry to hear your losses as well. Yeah. And, and this is therapeutic to me, and it may be to you too, Travis, doing this. It helps, right? It helps the heart, because see, now I'm going to start crying because it's sincere. It soothes me. So, when you ask a man, is he all right? Or are you okay? I just saw this today, and it was meant for me to see this message. And A man will say I'm all right, but they're not all right.
No.
We battle demons that people don't know. And
And that's why I hear lately and everything with June being men's June's men's mental health awareness month and everything. I've been pushing that quite a bit on our page and everything, just trying to get the word out and everything. Because I mean, it's okay not to be okay.
It is. It is.
And just a couple months ago and everything, I was sent to a class to become a peer support trainer for the department and everything, from a full-time department, which it carries over for other departments and everything. So just learning on how to sit there and notice something and sit there and help, because and our line of profession and everything, like when I first started in 2010, it was, you're not allowed to have feelings. If you sit there, if you have a problem and everything, you're not allowed to talk about it. Sit there and go home, cry in the pillow, deal with it, come back, do your job and stuff.
Yeah.
Which really, especially with starting out and everything, my very first run was horrible. It was a kids run. Not going to go in much detail on that and everything, but not a good outcome. It messed with a lot of the guys. One guy actually quit the career for a while and everything, came back later on, like 6-7 years later.
Oh, wow.
But just going from starting in 2010, not allowed to talk about your feelings. If you have feelings, you're a wimp, whatnot and stuff, to now seeing a major shift in this field on promoting mental health awareness and everything. And it's not even just for the men, it's for the females too and everything, because
absolutely
all across the line and everything, in the first responders and military service and everything, we're the worst ones to sit there and worry about ourselves.
You know, and I never did go through military. I never was a first responder. I wanted to, but I never did. But hats off to you guys. Thank you for what you guys do. You know, and I tell my nephew, he's a police officer for the city of Monroe, went to he was in the Army. He went over to Afghanistan twice. He just hit 40. And he said, we were trained, and you guys are trained, like you just said, shake it off and do your job, because you don't have time for that emotional stuff, because once you get in here, it's hard to get out of there. And, you know, and that's why the suicidal rates are so high, because these young men and women that are going through these trainings to protect this country and to protect our cities and streets, they're told to brush it off. But we're all human. Yeah. You know, we can't just brush it off. We're human beings.
Right. And you know what else? The construction industry is
same way.
Is rife with suicides and such. And I'm the chairwoman of the Women of Asphalt branch here in Ohio. And so we had an event at the Ohio Pavement Expo back in March and brought in a speaker. She's from Pennsylvania, who discusses mental health and, you know, gives out these little hard hat stickers with the, you know, the hotlines. And it is very important. That was a very well received event. And we're putting together a virtual event with the same woman, because it is so important. And, you know, I for one, you know, I've been in counseling multiple times. I'm not embarrassed to share that, you know, but it used to be, you know, that used to be a secret, you know, and now it's like,
no, because there's too many people out there with it. You know, we all deal with it.
Right.
Yeah. And that sense of community, I feel, is what's more important now, you know, because when I was 16 until I was 18, I was self-harming and I tried to commit suicide. I dealt with a lot of dark, you know, stuff in my life at that point. And, you know, now, you know, what helps me the most even today to even bypass all of the, you know, hurt that I had gone through when I was, you know, growing up, you know, being, you know, having Travis and Cole and Shauna here. I mean, you know, they help me every day, and they may not even realize it, but just that sense of community helps so much. You know, seeing the paranormal community and how amazing they are, just, you know, just knowing that you can rely on, you know, you guys and other people and what you guys do too, you know, it helps a lot of people. And, not only in their mental health, but having that sense of community and that sense of belonging. So I think you guys I think there needs to be more props given to you guys and other people that try to help others out there in this field.
Absolutely.
So we thank you guys for what you guys do as well. So I think it's amazing.
And you hear, we just got asked something here from Tori. She owns Sleepy Mortuary. She just said, would you guys be open, talking about all of us, hosting an event at Sleeper sometime next year, and all proceeds go to an entity that gives help for mental health in those areas of your choice?
Absolutely.
I'm completely down. Yeah, 100%.
Kick-ass collaboration to me.
To me, that sounds awesome. So Tori, you got a thumbs up all the way around. Jenny Davis goes, that would be amazing, to Tori. And she says, I think so, Jenny. And Jenny was, she would help in any way too. And if you guys get to meet Jenny Davis, she's just a sweet girl. We've known her for over 15 years in the paranormal. Mm-hmm. And she's in Minnesota. And Tori just said something that's right. The world is full of people walking with heavy hearts that are afraid to get the help they need.
Right.
And I want help. Exactly. So she just said, let's do this thing, guys. So isn't that amazing that
yes.
This is your first podcast, and now guess what? We're going to put an event together.
Yeah, that's awesome. Seriously, it's like you don't even know like how and I'm going to say how giddy we are about this, like seriously, like we've been talking about this podcast and this day for ever since we scheduled it. And we, I feel like I'm, that 5-year-old that just got a brand new car toy or something, it's exciting. I think my wife is over there doing schoolwork, and I know she was all like, she asked me, because I worked at 12 today at the firehouse, and I got back and she's like, what time is that podcast? And I'm like, I told her what time, and she's like, well, you need to hurry up and do this, and so you can get on there. But she's excited for it too, to see all of us grouping up
there
like this
go.
And everything.
And she just said the smiles I just saw around the table, it already makes it worth it.
Yes.
So Tori, let's all get together and talk about this. Josh has got a podcast, guys. He's a cool dude. Love him. Thanks for stopping in, man. And then here's Lisa. Lisa's a true friend of ours. She said, this is what gives people hope in rough times. And, and I wanted to go back on what we were just talking about, and Tori said it as well. It's hard for people to say they need help, especially for a man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hardest. Now, a woman, they can talk to their friends, their girlfriends, and their sisters, or, but yeah. Eating tacos.
I was like, what? I was like, we're getting into this seriousness, and I see that pop up, and I look over because Travis is on the top right, and I see him break. Oh my god!
And I'm sitting here looking at Justin, and I finally read it.
Yeah, I'm like, oh.
I just seen it pop up, and I just flew off.
And while we're at it, laughing. If you saw, you could see our view with Travis, right? So when he sits with his range hood behind, looks like he's got big rings in his ears. But
before we need to hear about Colin Shauna's experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Josh said it happens.
I guess I'll go first here, since I've got a little bit something more in depth than Shauna's answer that she's got prepared. So I grew up watching a lot of this stuff on TV and Ghost Adventures and all that, and not really knowing like what to believe, more or less. My mother was always kind of a big believer. My dad was a skeptic. So my mom being in the family and stuff, we always had people that were very specific about going to different places and stuff that had those experiences and those reputations, and kind of veered away from it growing up. And my mom had this friend, she had a son and stuff, and we used to watch my mom's friend's kid for a long time and stuff. And they did this vacation and went to one of these locations in Washington, D.C. actually. And when they came back, and we never had anything like this happen at our house before. I hadn't experienced anything up until that time before or anything like that. He came back, and we started having these really weird things happen in our house. Our old house was built in like 95, 92. So it wasn't super old. There was only one previous set of owners, but it was little things like we started noticing like doors would close on their own or open, started hearing footsteps and stuff. And I spent a lot of days and nights at home alone at the time going through high school and stuff because of everybody's schedules. And I had a really weird experience one night where my door closed on its own and I could hear people talking in the kitchen. I walked out in the kitchen and I watched drawers open in the middle of my kitchen right in front of me and a door swing open to my garage, which was a big heavy door at the time. That really freaked me out at like 15 years old, seeing that and stuff. I was like, I have no idea what to think of this or to look at it and stuff. And things just kept escalating. There was, we started seeing shadow figures and stuff. I started having a shadow figure that sat in my room and would watch me. My sister was pushed and touched getting out of the shower and walking to her room. My mother had the same thing happen to her very similarly. And it even affected my dad, who used to work from home in our basement. He heard water running one day upstairs and heard people walking around. He was alone. We were all at school. My mom was off working and stuff. And he went upstairs and the dogs were waiting for him at the door and ran downstairs and hid in the corner.
Oh, wow.
He went up there and found out that the faucet was on in the bathtub. All the doors were locked. Nowhere anybody could get in. So we had some really weird stuff going on. And my mother knew one of her aunts is a psychic and came out and investigated the house with us and stuff and said that there are 3 spirits in our house now that are attached to this place now and have grown attached to us. And they were transported here by somebody else. They latched onto somebody else and that person came to our house and they got attached to us. And that's what she said.
And that's how it works too. And then they won't stick with you, but they'll stick with the location.
Yeah. So it was really weird. And we did a couple EVPs and got some voices and some other stuff. But the biggest thing that really kind of opened my eyes where I finally got convinced, because I had all this weird stuff happen to me. I couldn't explain why growing up. Started seeing all these things like shadow figures and the doors and hearing the footsteps and stuff. And everybody was experiencing different things all at once. We were told, my mom got told, go take a picture of the house as if you were going to sell it, right? A little realtor photo of the front. She took this photo, and we still have this photo in one of our photo albums. She took this photo, and in this photo, you can see what appears to be a little girl standing in my bedroom window next to my dog, and a man and a woman standing next to my other dog at the screen door at the front door of the house. And nobody else is in the picture frame. Still to this day, I have no explanation for it. But that was kind of the moment where I started believing a little bit more. And Travis mentioned to me that him and Justin were getting together. They did an investigation. They were going to go back and check it out and stuff. And I told Travis, I was like, I'm in. What do I got to do? I want to figure out what more of this stuff is. I want to see what I can actually learn from it and stuff, and actually like become a little bit more convinced, because there's bits and pieces of it that I can be a little bit more skeptical on with stuff. So it was definitely something that I wanted to check out, and I jumped at the opportunity.
So yeah,
no.
See,
She's fairly new to that stuff, and is she's interested, but is very much a skeptic. So she's more or less.
Well, and that's good, because you know, all the years that I've been doing it, I'm still a skeptic too. You know, and you guys being in the fire industry, you know, when we go into buildings, even me, when I go into a building, I'm doing a site survey, maybe looking at a sprinkler repair or a fire alarm issue, and it's empty. You know, then back of my head, I'm like, oh, I'm in here by myself, paranormal, you know, and it's cool. But then you get that creepy vibe. But then you're like, it's just a building settling. It's just an high EMF. So you still got to be skeptic.
Mm-hmm.
Because I tell everybody we got the 100% scale. 95% of the stuff can be it's man-made. It can be debunked. But that 5%, you know, I'm doing this like the unknown, right?
Yes.
So,
Mommy.
So, and also, let me scroll back up here. We got to get back some of us laughing, because Shauna's got to share. I want to.
Sure.
He goes, Josh says, I want to have you guys on the show.
I would love to be on.
He's got a cool show. And then she said, sometimes they go through the digestive system fast. You got to be prepared. And he goes, it gets bad. It's like a fire.
Man,
Everybody's come to the right place.
And then she's like, better check the TP roll before you sit down, though. It's time like that when there is only one square.
square left. Yeah. Then you're sitting there, huh? What do I do?
And you're the only one home.
Yeah.
The real emergency then.
Yeah.
Oh, and then somebody, and then hold on, I gotta, because if they're here, it's is it Ethan Supernatural? We had Cody and Satori on, and they said that was their favorite episode. And then someone else from YouTube says, yes, we love Cody and Satori. Yes, I'll have them back on. They're true friends of ours. Now Tori's just laughing. I had to catch up with those, but I wanted to hear Cole's story.
Stop. Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's one of those. It's like it's the worst walk of shame that you could really do. I mean, it really is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, trying to keep it in. So Shauna, tell us a little bit about your stuff.
Don't look at me. You're not weaseling out of this.
He answered a little bit, but I was like, that's not Shauna talking.
Right. So you're skeptical, and
That's good.
right.
But there's something that intrigues you to want to get involved into this, right?
Honestly, I just heard that Cole, Travis, and Justin went and they got all this like activity, and I wanted to see it for myself to like fully believe in it.
Because it's exciting. And
Yeah.
plus, you're like in the back of your head, you're excited. You want to see this with your own eyes or feel something, because this one right here taught me that. Follow your gut. Before, I don't follow my gut. I just wanted to just go with it, right? But you follow your gut, you experience it. Either you hear it, you see it, or the body tells you something like, whoa, the energy is changing. And the more you come in tune by doing, if you're doing real-time audio, and they're going over all of your voice recordings, you come more in tuned. So all that plays in perspective. Yeah. And just like, here, Tori's that. And as a skeptic, what is one of the, she's asking this question to you guys. What is one thing that you wish you could convey about your thoughts to believers?
That's a really good question.
So, showing some of the possible evidence that we caught, especially the EVPs and stuff. I mean, we're still kind of going through it because we got a lot to release. But, I mean, with this being new, we really want to make sure, that we're releasing the right stuff and everything. Or sending to people to sit there saying, hey, what do you think? But just some of the one, like the very first one we caught on my cell phone at the Barbell Funeral Home. We heard a loud noise in the basement. Later on, we was able to debunk that noise. Whenever the furnace kicks on, it rattles some of the pipes and stuff.
Okay.
But I restarted the EVP session on my phone again. And I'm sitting there asking, I'm like, hey, who was that? Just made the noise? Because at the time, we didn't know it was a furnace and stuff. So I'm like, show yourself or do it again and everything. You hear someone in the background. Stop, sis, please. Sorry, my daughter.
No, you're fine. We understand.
But one of the people that was with us is at the bottom of the stairs, yelling upstairs to my mom and sister, and then my little one was there upstairs hanging out, and asking if they made any noise upstairs, and they said no. Then you hear Justin sitting there. I can't remember kind of what he said, but you can know his tone of the voice, and all of a sudden, just like crystal clear, right next to the phone, you hear in a completely different tone from everyone saying, "I'm right here."
Oh,
and it's like, how there's nothing else in there to sit there and try to make that sound and stuff. It's just trying to debunk and everything and get someone to truly understand that we didn't forge the EVP or stuff and everything. Just trying to understand that. Because, I mean, like the orbs and everything on one of our last investigation, we got quite a bit of orbs and stuff we're going through. But, I mean, it's very hard to try and debunk some of that and everything just because where it comes from, the camera angles, and you're sitting there trying to zoom in, making sure it's not getting blurry, but trying to see if it's possible dust or a bug and stuff. But
Sure.
it's like,
Yeah.
it's very hard.
So I would like to touch onto that, as a skeptic. So for one of my part-time jobs, and I know this going to sound crazy being a paranormal investigator also, but I'm also a student minister director at a church. So I really help, I just teach lessons to my students, and I really try to help the students in their path in life and everything. But as a skeptic, some of my original beliefs were like, oh, well, there can't be ghosts, or there can't be spirits. There's only demons, essentially. And I've come to realize that has not been the true teaching. I was taught a man's doctrine and not a true doctrine. And so, as a skeptic, what I wish I could convey to believers is, while I may not believe, there's enough that's gaining my knowledge, right? There's enough that's gaining my attention, and I just want to know, the best way to help me is, I feel like the best way to help a skeptic, essentially, in that point is, find where that disconnect is for them, right? Find that disconnect. My disconnect was I was taught a different doctrine that I now realize as I was growing up, and now that I'm older into it, was not a true. It was just a person's teaching, and not what the true universe can, hold in the true paranormal side. So just that side of approaching the skeptic, and I do that every time. I have friends that are atheists, and I'm like, I approach it as, where is your disconnect? I'm going to still respect you, but how can I help you in any questions that you have?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and for me, I have a healthy dose of skepticism, and I don't have the same abilities like Lee has. So, when we're investigating and he starts carrying on about how he's picking this up, he's picking that up, I kind of start in with the questions. It's not because I don't believe him.
No, she wants to get more. Yes,
Right.
She's curious.
It's kind of for my own self. Like, okay, I need to rule this out. I need to rule this out.
And I always tell people when I start investigating that I may say things right at the beginning that make no sense, because I think when we're investigating, it's like a group of people putting a puzzle together. So it's all dumped on the table, right? So I may pick up, this may draw to me, and I'm going to tell you that, okay, this may make no sense right now, but Travis may pick up something down the road tonight. Cole may say something a little later. Justin, you may say, Tori would be with, and then and then you're like, Lee, you said something at the beginning of the investigation. That is the final piece of so that's how I work. So that's why she asks me a lot of different questions.
And that's also why now, when I do feel, hear, see, smell something, I just blurt it out.
Yeah.
Because for so long I was just bowled right over. Oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about.
Well, and it's also good to blur it out, because if we're all investigating, maybe someone else in the group may not want to say something that they're feeling, but it takes somebody to shove it out. And he goes, oh, did you hear that? And then they're going to say, well, yeah, just a second ago. So, keep just letting it out, because I think that's the problem with people in the paranormal right now, is putting it out there, right? Because a lot of people are going to say, we weren't there during the investigation. So we don't really know. And I'm not like that at all. I want to hear your story. I want to see what you got. But it keeps us confined to where we don't want to share. But we need to get over that, and it's hard. It truly is hard. Because I've watched it come and go. I've watched people come and go through this paranormal, and I tell people I'm like in school. We're all at the lockers. We're getting ready to switch classes. All I do is lean back and just let the peons go through, because eventually they're going to be dismissed, or they're done. And then just keep doing what you're doing because you're passionate about it and you want the answers. It's helping you therapeutically. You're helping a residential. If you don't have the answers, I always tell them, I can get you the answer. I know people I got a good friend that does deliverances, Bill Bean. He's all over the world. I got other friends that do psychic stuff. We're going to find a way. If I have to get an archdiocese in, I got a connection in Cincinnati. We're going to make it happen.
Right. We have resources.
That's a big thing. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
And that's one thing that we was very shocked on how quick our page or just our group itself has blown up
Yeah.
and everything. Started on August 9th and everything. It was just me and Justin. It's like, man, it'd be awesome if it really takes off and everything and whatnot. But I'm like, it's probably going to be a battle and stuff. But like as soon as we went and everything, and we spent like $15, if that, and everything, just to boost some of our posts early on and everything. But now, I mean, we're almost at, I think just a little bit ago, I checked 830 followers in just about 2 months
That's awesome, though.
and everything.
You're almost coming up to your year, and a little, that's
Yeah. And just seeing how everyone is basically, if you're in it to sit there and try and understand the paranormal realm or anything that's paranormal, creepy, cryptid, and stuff, and just want to help people and everything, the community comes together, and we've just been blown away that everyone wants to see someone else. It's like yeah, we want to do good and everything, but we want to see you succeed also and everything.
absolutely.
That's why the past 2 weeks I've just been doing sharing shout outs and everything, because there's been so many teams and everything that has helped us get where we're at now. And it's like we're going to pay it back.
Yeah,
Well, we definitely need to get with you guys and investigate.
oh,
Yes.
that would be awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And to go back to what you were saying about feeling comfortable to go out and stuff, one for me, like I was at first uncomfortable going out because oh, I'm a student minister, right? Like, oh, that's not looked, that shouldn't be looked, you know how people's belief. But I encourage anybody that no matter what religion that you have, if they feel like that this goes against, my thing is I look at it as just for me personally, and my belief is for Christianity as a whole, right? Like God is the paranormal. It's just a different way in the paranormal, right? And I want to know more. I want to figure out more. And you brought up a good point. Don't be afraid to do this. If this is something that you want to learn more about and you're passionate about, do it. Don't try to keep it in. And and I'm thankful for Travis because he kind of brought that out in me. He's like, we're gonna do this, and I'm like, nah, dude, like, nah, we're not gonna do this. And here we are,
We're going to. We got just stuff on our cell phone. We don't have all the cool bells and whistles that we see on the TV and everything. It's like, no, we're doing this.
Yeah, and so don't be afraid to do this. And I completely agree with you on that. If you're passionate about it, do it. There's this community so amazing already that if you don't know how to do it, just reach out to one of them.
I'm going to share something real quick with you boys. I make this, and I'm going to do it just out of the kindness of my heart. I want to do this for you guys. I'm going to make you a spirit portal box my way, and I'm going to give it to you guys just as welcome to the field. Something was telling me to do this just a little bit ago, so I'm gonna make you one.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
You'll really like it. Just hook up your ghost box to it. You can also do Estes methods. It's in the backpack. Because I'm an equipment guru.
do you want it?
No. I just love equipment all the way around. So
that's awesome.
Patty, if it's made, I'm buying it.
That's awesome.
I've got thermals. I've got you name it. I got it.
That's something that we're looking into, like trying to make our own REM pods and everything. We've seen so much of that, and there just how somewhat easy, but we love building and everything, like me and Justin and everything. But just sitting there thinking of ways to like kind of design something special. Goose Flats, we won a contest from them. They're sending us a gift and everything from the contest just by helping. But they're located in Tombstone, Arizona, and everything. Just being following them, seeing the devices that they make, making it where like these old style coffins for the REM pods, or this old style candle and everything, instead of just doing a normal looking candle, they made it more like the minor style and everything. Just seeing that.
Cool.
And the reason why they're doing that is the newer looks, or the plain old looks and everything, the REM pods and stuff.
Well, yeah,
they don't get a lot of activity from it.
Absolutely. So people are making trigger objects more to something, because if we're, the thing is, it seems like we're always picking up spirits that are early 1900s, but nothing recent. So they're building trigger objects for like teddy bears. They're building old lanterns. The bell, the dead bell. That's all this stuff is time frame. So people, oh yeah, I'll mess with that, because if you go into let's say an older building that they've got a lot of older spirits in there, and you sit down a thermal imaging camera or an XLS, they're going to look at you like you're crazy. I'm not going to come out here and talk to you. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something that changed my perspective completely. Is I was like, spirits aren't going to care about that, And as I started diving more into the research on it, I'm like, it makes sense. And they do care about that. I'm like, it really did change my perspective on that. That time period, trigger objects are very important, and trigger objects that that may associate with that spirit that may be in that home that died in that home per se. I didn't realize how big of a role that could play. So it was cool learning more about that.
And Tori just mentioned there was a huge learning curve with equipment for her spirits at the mortuary, being an older spirit, right? Coming in here and they're like, whoa, what is this? It's like now, back in the day when Star Trek came out, it's like, whoa, what is that thing?
Yeah. And that's even true to this day. I mean, the technology that's being released on a daily basis just blows me away.
I know now you've got AI, so I can take a picture of all of us and I can put us together like we were just together last night. And it's like, what?
Yeah, it blows my mind. And it's scary sometimes. Like for some people, it's scary to think about like that advance of a technology. So I can see where that could affect a spirit that doesn't have knowledge of that. So
yeah, and Tori just said they just opened up the mortuary in January of this year.
Oh, that's awesome.
So she's still, everything's a curve, learning and some of the stuff. And so you know what, I'm excited that I'm blown away that she asked us to do something with her at the mortuary for 2026. That sounds cool. Awesome. We had her on the show, so I look forward to that. Oh, yeah. She's a woman that was taking a video of herself in the embalming room, caught a female EVP saying, "This is stupid. It's stupid."
I mean, at least she's calling it. She's calling
it something.
But it reminds me of like my great grandma when we were trying to teach her something on new technology.
Right?
Like, this is just dumb. I don't want to do this. So I get.
Yeah, that's like my mom. She's 77, and if I told her, "Mom, you're going on an investigation," which I know the answer to that's a big no. But if she went, she would be like, I'd say, "Here, Mom, I want you to carry this big XLS. It's a stick figure thing that does 3D. Just carry this around on the tripod." She'd be like, "Are you nuts?" But if I gave her something like, "Oh, here, this is a trigger object. It's a coffee mug," she'd carry that.
Yeah.
And then she said, "Why is it making noises?" "Well, Mom, I gave you a trigger object. It's drawing the."
That's so awesome. I love it.
We enjoy walking through like antique malls or even secondhand stores. You can find so many cool everyday objects to be trigger objects.
We do that every now and then on a Saturday. Get up and just gas up the truck, and because I say I'm taking the truck because you never know what I'm going to come home with.
Right.
And so we just go and just take back roads and end up in these little towns. We end up in Indiana. Come back, it's like we got our phones, we got GPS in the truck. We're not lost. We're just out exploring, and that's where you find cool buildings. You go have lunch to places and these little old diners. And at my full-time job, I'm like, "Hey, do you guys got any good ghost stories in this town?" Oh my God, dude, I have them all sitting at the table. They're just like, "This is so crazy."
Yeah, that's awesome. And you're talking about antiques. There's an antique mall that's getting ready to open up in Amelia. I'm so excited for it. I'm pumped about it because I love antiques.
Tori says, "Give my mom a rotary." My mom would be fine with that. Tori,
I miss old rotary phones.
me too, man.
I
Remember
grew
the
up with
cord
one.
that went all the way through the house.
My dad used to have one that we grew up with in the house, and it sat there. That was the first phone I ever learned how to use. Was one of the little rotary dial phones.
Oh yeah.
Now
I'm
you-
shocked on that, Cole.
Huh?
I'm shocked on that.
Yeah, I'm being legit. First phone I learned how to use was with a phone book and one of them little rotary phones to call my neighbors and stuff.
Yeah, I saw a video not long ago where this man and woman, they were at one of their grandmas, and she brought their two boys in and said, "Here, pick. What do you do with that?" And he goes, "What is that?" They're looking at. They're not even touching it, but they're walking around this little table like, "What is this thing? It's got a cord." And he pulls out. The dad pulls out a phone, and mom's recording this. And he goes, "What you see there is this. What you have in your hand, your smartphone. That's how we did it." And then he throws a phone book at one of the kids, and he goes, "That's how we looked up phone numbers. That's how we looked up pizza places, and we wanted to go roller skate. Whatever it was, we looked up there."
Yeah.
That's why we
That-
knew the phone numbers.
Right.
Yeah, back when it was like collect calls and everything. Mom, I'm ready. Pick me up.
Yeah.
And Tori goes, "Until you bend your fingers back dialing it." Like 911. Back in the day, using a rotary phone to dial 911. Oh my God, you may be dead by the time
Yeah, I was about to say.
that 9 goes all the way around.
Yeah, and you know, you could never sneak away while being on one of them phones. Like if you were trying to hide from mom or dad or something, they would just follow the cord. Like, oh, there you are.
Hey, Justin, this is for you. She said, "If you like antiques, I have something you will love to see. An Oddfellows casket."
What?
Yeah, from around 1870 on display at the mortuary.
Oh,
That is
no
cool. She was
way.
talking about, yeah.
That sounds cool. I bet you
Yeah.
did a lot of really good activity around that as
Oh,
an object itself. Probably.
But you got to think, maybe that was that one that they rented out, because a lot of people
Yeah.
they were renting them. Yeah.
Yep.
just
That's
using it for that purpose, and just
Oh, that's
thinking all
wild.
the energy. And then, you know, me, I'm getting inside it.
Yeah. You're gonna be like, close it.
Yeah, sit some equipment on my belly. I'm going to lay here for a minute.
That might be an experiment we
Without
do
label.
at some point with Broadwell or something like that. We stick one of us in a coffin
In a
or something.
coffin,
and see
yeah.
what happens.
Yeah, you can do that all you want, Bob.
I'll do it.
Oh, she said there's a huge
What?
biological material in the casket.
You know what? I might not do it in
Yeah.
that casket.
Yeah.
Now that one there, you said you don't want to sit in it.
Yeah, I don't think I would pass.
Yeah,
Definitely go
I don't
pass
think
on
I'm
that.
going to that one.
But definitely would love to see that though. I'm huge into it. We have a. It's funny because there's this little house that's across from the Gold Star in my town, and this guy was having a yard sale. I'm a big yard seller because that's where you find the cool antiques and
Oh,
stuff.
absolutely.
And I walked over, and this guy's like, I'm just standing there, and this was probably about a year ago. And I'm just standing there, and the guy's like, "Hey, you like haunted objects?" And I'm like, "Not in particular, but kind of, yeah." What do you mean? He's like, "Well, I have like the first edition of a Ouija board," and he showed it to me. It was really cool. And then he's like, "I got this doll that's like, I think it's pretty haunted." And then he's like, "Then I have this little high chair that was made by the Native Americans, and
Oh, good
it's
Lord.
kind of creepy." And I'm like, "How much you want for it?" Like, it's sitting in my shed right now. It's a wooden one. It's really cool, but yeah, it's yeah. But it was so weird because the guy just walks like, "Who comes to the yard sale?" And they're like, "You like
You like
haunted
haunted
objects?"
Yeah, and he comes up to you and creeps by. "Hey, you look like a guy that likes haunted things."
yeah. He's like, "If you ever want to come in my house, man, I have a whole wall of just
Hey,
like."
forget that, because you'll be the next person in the basement. Don't forget to put the lotion in the basket.
Did you take him up on the Ouija board and doll too?
No, I didn't take him up on that. He was wanting way too much. He was wanting way too much for the Ouija board. Sorry, my dogs are barking at the cat.
No, you're fine.
They were wanting. He was wanting like $400 for the Ouija board. I'm like, I'm gonna have to pass on that one. But it was. He showed me like he had it authenticated and everything. It was pretty cool to see. It was like a total different box than like what the Ouija boards came in. So it was cool to see.
Cool.
So when me and Patty did one of our episodes on a haunting, Trapped in Terror, there was this lady reached out to me through email and said, "Oh, I just watched your show. And I have this Ouija board," and she was in North Carolina, I think.
I think so, yeah.
And she goes, and I would love to just send it to you. And she starts talking about it and how she tried to get rid of it several times, but it's here. And I look at Patty and I was like, I don't want her Ouija board. I was like, she said, well, who do we? I said, get a hold of Robert Murch. Robert Murch is a good friend of ours. He has a museum in Boston, Massachusetts. And so we had him, we reached out to him. Yeah, give her my address and we'll put it in the museum. So then we did a follow-up with him because he got it. And he goes, I had to put that in a case. He said, because the energy around that thing was unreal. And he goes, and I've got old Ouija boards dated way back. And he goes, and that one, 1960s, I think. Whatever they try to bring out, I don't know. I was like, thank God it's not at the house.
Yeah. He's like, thanks for that. That's insane. Yeah.
Oh, she's got a morning. Ooh, you know what the morning rates are, right? Where that's hair, people's hair. Ooh.
People's hair. Yeah. Actually, I haven't heard that mentioned in a minute. Like, because I have a friend that works. His grandpa and stuff owned a bunch of funeral homes, and they had brought that up when we were growing up. He's like, you know what a morning wreath is? And I'm like, a what? And he told me about it, and he's like, yeah, that would be insane.
Right.
I bet that's got to have some energy to it.
Oh yeah. Then she said 1920s last rite.
Yeah, that's like all the stuff Carlo has too.
Yeah, isn't that what where do you get your stuff? Because I know Carlo does that.
Mm-hmm.
I love Murch. Yeah, Murch is a good dude. He is somebody that when it comes to Ouija boards, we were at Phenomenology. God, this is 2011, and in Gettysburg, and he had 2 long tables with all Ouija boards.
Mm-hmm.
And so he says, Lee, I know you're sensitive, but I want you to walk down this aisle. And they're both on both sides of me. And I'm like, are you nuts? And he goes, no. He says, I'll catch you. I said, I don't even think I'm going to get halfway down the damn aisle, man. So we go. I do. He says, because I wanted to see what you draw. And I was like, I got sick. I had to leave the room. He has a Ouija board that is, it looked like it was in a fire because it looks ashy. But he said, no, he just, I forget what kind of Ouija board this was from a different country, early 1800s. And I'm like, dude. So he said, do you think it's this one? And I'm like, get that away. My mouth started watering. I was like, no, get that away. I can't have that. I don't have no time for that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that interest me in this sort of world of things and stuff, and that I'm definitely interested in. But Ouija boards, that's one where I draw the line where I'm like, I'm not messing with that, real or not. I ain't taking that risk. That's a big no for me. And she's all about the Ouija board. She wants to get one and try them and do all that. And I'm not doing any of that.
So my grandma, she was one that, I mean, she grew up heavy in church. I mean, her dad was a pastor and like a bunch of different things. Well, I guess when she was like 16, they went and tried a Ouija board, and some energy was really attached to it, and she tried to burn it, and it refused to burn.
It wouldn't even start. Yeah,
it wouldn't even start. And she's like, it scared her so bad. They tried to get rid of it, and they couldn't. And I don't know what I'll have to ask her. I don't know if they ended up burying it. I'm not sure, but she ended up doing something. But I'll have to ask her and get back to you, and I'll let you guys know. But yeah,
I would love to hear, because I love hearing stories about things, man. It's like the lady, she said she even tried to. She said she got this from her husband growing up or something. It was handed to them, and he just said, "Oh, I just put it in the closet, in the spare bedroom when they moved in together." And she went to use that room, and she was cleaning that closet out, and she saw that, and he goes, "No, you can get rid of it." Well, she takes it and she puts it into the kitchen, and she was going to take it out when she took the trash out. Well, she knew she was home alone. And she's sharing my story, she said it was right back in the closet because she said it in the atmosphere on the phone. Well, I'm going to get rid of it, so, because she called him and asked. Well, whatever was attached said, no, you're not doing that. It's not. We're not leaving this house. And so I was like, send it to him. Don't send it here.
Yeah, no. Whew.
But again, remember what Robert explained to us, because there were times
Oh
that
yeah, like
we
on the
kind of had
website.
strong feelings about Ouija boards, like a lot of people do. And he really put it in perspective with us, saying, with all this other equipment you have,
The digital stuff.
the digital stuff is just like a Ouija board. You're asking for communication.
Yeah, you're a group of people standing in a room, sitting in a room.
Yeah.
You've got a REM pod sitting there, just for instance, and we're focused on this REM pod, just like we are a Ouija board, to get an answer. He goes, so what's the difference?
Yeah, and put in that perspective, that makes 100% sense. It makes sense.
So
It does.
because
They are still kind of creepy, though.
Yeah,
I do agree.
he came to me at Phenomenology and he goes, man, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, why? And I was like, bummed. He hands me his phone and he goes, what is this on your website? I had a no Ouija board, banner. And he goes, you need to take that down. And I was like, what? And he goes, well, hold on, hear me out. And then he explained, and I'm like, dude, you're right. We use digital voice recorders. We use whatever it is, we're using it, just like we're putting batteries into that stuff, like you're putting your batteries, your body, your energy on that podium as you're walking, you're doing I was like, it makes sense. He's right. So
I think a lot of it is just, if you look through the Catholic history and everything, on like a lot of their well-known exorcisms that they've done and everything, a lot of the times and everything, it's the Ouija boards what started the whole process and everything. I think that's what catches.
It's like that's where it all began, right?
Yeah.
Like it all started. She just said she saw an Oddfellows casket on Marketplace.
That's an interesting place, but
how would you? You take this picture, you got this place, and you're like, I'm gonna put this on Marketplace. Somebody wants this.
Yes, I mean,
It's Facebook. Somebody will buy it.
Somebody will buy it.
I couldn't imagine though, just scrolling through Facebook Marketplace and then that pops up. Like,
I know, right? Well, you can,
I mean, like, who's searching like I need a casket,
right?
Well, there might be some questions involved.
That's a really good point.
Well, she said that's where she got hers.
See, hey, listen, there you go. That's what I'm saying. Are you gonna have two now? Are you gonna have two Oddfellow caskets? I mean, that really sets up the vibe in there.
You got a bid on it.
Oh, let's go.
But you know what? Talking about yard sales, Justin, here in Trenton where we live, they have what they call the Trenton Yard Sale every year, and it's the third week of May, and it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and this whole town is nothing but that. People can drive their four-wheelers, golf carts through the neighborhoods, all that. I mean, it's crazy atmosphere. Well, we decided it was a Friday. I worked from home. She was at home. And I was like, let's just take a walk for lunch. We walked around. And as we're coming back across the street, maybe 6 houses over on the other side of the street, I noticed there was 2 bikes because we've been wanting to get bikes. So these are the big Schwinn Beach, older style, the vintage.
Oh, yeah.
I walked up and then I come back home and I'm like, I'm going to go ask her. They had $100 for them and they look brand new. And I was like, I got to go up and do more detail because I couldn't sit still. I was like, I can't pass it up. So I walked up there and I'm talking to the guy and he goes, oh, those are my mom. She's right there. And she comes over, her and her husband. And he goes, yeah, we bought these. I bought hers first and then mine. And she just didn't want to do it anymore. And I was like, well, I see 100. I said, would you do $80 for both of those? Not a hesitant. She was just like, sure. And I was so excited. I was just like, I got them downstairs. I washed them up, cleaned them up. And I was like, it's a deal. You find gold at a yard sale.
Yeah, no. And so I'm a bottle collector. Okay?
Are you?
Yeah, my wife probably don't like it, but because if I go to at this historical society over in Bethel, they have like an antique sale. They're all typically the first week of each month in the summer, and I went there and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm finally off work for a yard sale. I'm pumped, and it's not raining. I went over and they had an old Teddy Roosevelt bottle, and when it shone, it's green, but when like the sun hits it, it's like rainbow. And the lady, it was like $20, and I'm like, I think I only had like 10 on me, and I was like, I put it back down, and she's like, I'll take 10 for that. I'm like, it's sold. I'll take the bottle, you know.
Thank
And
you for reading my mind, lady.
yeah, thanks for that, you know. And I'm walking back all proud, holding this bottle, and my wife's just shaking her head, like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have another bottle."
Yeah, because we've got our own different hobbies other than the paranormal. I mean, she does crochet stuff. And so, we all have our different little hobbies, and it's just like, hey, this is me. Mine's my car, so my Harley, and I bought a Mustang, and it's just, I'm going back to my younger days, but it is, we all have hobbies. We all have different things. And, but paranormal, boom, that's it, and, but yeah, I totally get it. When you go to look, even like people throwing stuff, and then at the end of the yard sale, this is what it is. Everybody, if they don't sell it on Sundays, they put it out on the curb.
Yeah, it's all on the curb. Yeah.
So everybody's like, well, I'm going to go look and see what everybody didn't,
Yeah.
Wait for Sunday.
And you see so many people put signs up. Please don't scatter everything. If you go, can you please put it back and be nice?
Yeah.
Or they'll say, you must take it all.
Yeah.
Really? You're going to stand out here?
No, you're not going to stand out. I'm not taking this all. No.
No.
Well, guys, I want to thank you guys so much for coming on. We went way over our time, but that's okay.
Hey, we thank you guys for
We had a
letting us
good
be
time.
here. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I stream through Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify.
Awesome.
So all I got, it takes me some time afterwards, and it'll be all dumped out on YouTube, our YouTube channel, Paravision's Paranormal Society, and then Spotify.
Speaking of which, how does everyone find you?
Exactly. Share how people can plug in to find you guys.
Yep.
Travis, that's a you question there.
Go ahead.
So we got Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. It's basically Southern Ohio Paranormal Society. We're looking at once we get some of our evidence going and everything where we can actually have videos, we're going to look at making a TikTok.
Okay, cool.
YouTube, we don't have nothing posted yet because we're still going through some stuff to get it uploaded. We're really right now the most active on Facebook.
I'm putting it in right now
Yep.
for everybody to see. So there it is. So guys, we appreciate it. Looks like, hey, we're going to be doing an event, something cool.
Yeah,
Thanks to Corey for coming in and talking about that. We look forward to that.
And I can't remember the other one that had the podcast that said that he will love
Joshua.
Yeah.
Joshua. Yeah.
Shoot us a message or email. Let me make sure I get that right because I'm not used to saying that one.
I bet it is. You're friends with this Joshua?
Yeah, I'll send you his information because I'm friends.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, guys, I just burnt one tonight. I make candles. It's called Ghost Light.
Oh, nice.
Don't be lost in the dark. And I make this one's Ghost Gum. I just name them different little things, right? But they're cool. And I just made prototypes because I want to try them. But that one actually does smell good.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So I was like, just want to get them out there. I never put them out there. I come up with so many ideas, and I'm like, then I make the image that's in my head, all this stuff, and I'm sure everybody's the same way. It's like that.
Then the squirrel runs by.
Yeah, then you forget about it, and it's like, oh wait, I made those.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much, and we'll get with you guys. We need to do some kind of investigation.
Yeah, definitely.
Do something together. But you guys have a good night, safe week, and
we'll talk soon.
We'll talk again. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys again.
Thanks for having us.
Excited. Yeah.
All right, guys. Take care now.
All right. See you guys.
See ya.
See ya.
All right. That was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah.
We haven't gone this long on this show in a long time.
Absolutely.
Or at all.
Right. So, guys, stay tuned next week. We're going to have Tennessee Shadow Chasers, and I look forward to that.
Yep.
And, guys, have a great week. And what do we do, babe?
We always keep looking into the unknown.
Peace.